Hello everyone, my name is Kok Tong, and today I'll be presenting an experience shared by my colleague from internship on threats to compliance of the ethics code. At the department I am working at, they follow a strict set of procedures to carry out syndicated loans. These are large loans to a borrower by multiple lenders. In this scenario, there was a loophole which resulted in a threat to compliance of the code. As Mrs. A was a facility agent working at ABC Private Limited. A facility agent is a middleman between one borrower and multiple lenders. In one of the cases she handled, a share certificate worth 8 million, which was used as a collateral for the loan, was mailed to ABC to be kept as security document by Mrs. A. When requested by her superior, Mr. B, for the share certificate to be kept for safekeeping, Mrs. A denied that she received the share certificate and was not informed regarding that. As such, a department search was conducted on the whole team and eventually, the certificate was found in Mrs. A's drawer. Mrs. A was very defensive and insisted that she had no idea about the share certificate even though it was found in her drawer. The threat identified in this loophole is self-interest threat. Such threat arose from Mrs. A's interest in the financial use of the share certificate that allows her to take large sums of loans easily by using it as a collateral. This influences her role as a professional agent by using the company asset for her own personal use. In this case, the control of the share certificate is left entirely in Mrs. A's control and no other staff was involved in the receipt of the share certificate. Hence, the share certificate can be used as collateral by Mrs. A if she makes herself out to be the shareholder. With this self-interest threat, it would affect a few fundamental principles of the professional code of ethics that a professional such as Mrs. A should maintain at all times. Firstly, it caused her to violate the integrity principle. In order to hide the intention to use the share certificate for her own personal use, Mrs. A was not being honest about the fact that she had received it. This shows that Mrs. A had given false information to her superior and was not being honest while carrying out her responsibilities. Also, as Mrs. A was thinking about how to benefit from the share certificate, she had hidden it, which prevented the smooth procedural flow of keeping it as a security document and updating a client on the status of it. Therefore, the principle of professional competence and due care was violated as well. Mrs. A had failed to act according to the professional standards as she severely delayed the loan process and failed to deliver the professional service of an agent to the best of her ability. There are some safeguards that can be deployed to prevent Mrs. A from facing the self-interest threat. Firstly, the company can include an additional procedure where all mail, including the share certificate, has to pass through an admin staff independent of agency duties. This staff will record time and description of mail received in a shared platform, preventing any loss of mail. Secondly, Mrs. A can safeguard herself from temptation of using the share certificate for personal use by removing herself from the job of safekeeping and suggesting someone to cover her. Lastly, ABC can safeguard against such threat by training staff on policies that cover the danger of self-interest and stresses the importance of adhering to the company policy. For me, the preferred safeguard would be the first one because the added procedure prevents anybody from denying the mails and also keep track of the time as well as who received it. Such control will prevent the staffs from using the mail for their personal use. As a strong controlled environment is the best preventive measure, I believe it will negate the self-interest threats faced by Mrs. A. Once again, I thank my colleague for sharing this experience with me and I thank you for your time.